Hi and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Friday again, and it's usually when I do my YouTube videos. So today I thought I would talk about um, the joy, the rewards of mentoring people in photography and maybe in other things as well, but specifically I want to talk about some of my experiences in photography. When I first started out in photography, my dad was my first mentor really. He was a keen photographer, so the basics I learnt from him in the early days. And then there were other people came along. I worked with some photographers in a government department that I worked in, so I used to tap their brains. And then I ended up doing a lot of self-taught stuff, learning things through reading magazines and all that sort of stuff. And once I did a small short course with someone on wedding photography, and I used to go around and I'd talk to people. When I was trying to get started in weddings, I used to ring people up out of the blue and ask them if they'd give me some tips or recommend what sort of camera and that sort of stuff. And some of them were helpful, some of them were a bit annoyed because I was obviously going to be their competition. So, but over the years, I have enjoyed mentoring and training. When I used to work in the government, I did lots of training programs within the organisation, and I found that I had an ability to pass information on to others in different settings in the workplace, and also got involved in other types of groups in other settings, and still do voluntary work in teaching people photography at the moment with a group of people who have Parkinson's disease. And so I'm regularly coming across people who want to know about photography, and I offer them an opportunity to come to me informally and learn. I had a phone call one day from a young woman who was she got herself a nice, only an entry-level digital camera, SLR, and she had a good artistic eye, and she was starting to get people asking her to take photos of, their babies and the mum and the babies and that sort of stuff, and she was getting lots of requests and doing quite well. But she rang me up out of the blue one day on a recommendation from a relative of mine, and said, "Jeff, I understand that you do some training in photography, or can you teach me?" "I do." And she told me what she was doing, and she said, "But I know nothing at all about my camera, and I'm absolutely terrified that something might go wrong. Can you help me?" I said, "Of course." So I'd heard her around here a few times and taught her some of the basics, and also I said, "Look, one day if ever you think about doing weddings, I can teach you that as well," because people were asking her, but she was too scared to do that. Well, eventually she did do a couple of weddings with me assisting her, and as far as I know, she might still be doing that, but she's gone ahead in leaps and bounds in her photography. And another young girl, all these people are not all that young, but they are compared to me. Another friend of ours, a daughter of one of our friends, she and then another daughter of another friend, they wanted to learn photography, so right here where we sit, I had a bit more room in here then, and I did some training with them. And Kristen, who's I'm still in touch with, she lives in Geelong these days, but she's doing wonderful stuff on Instagram, and people are really taking notice. And she was even interviewed about her photography and how she got started just recently. And I get a lot of joy out of watching people like that develop their photography. It's a good word, develop, when you're talking about this stuff. Anyway, and also I trained lots of people in wedding photography, and some of them really went on with it and became fully professional. Others chose not to. They didn't think it was for them. But I've always enjoyed teaching people. I also had a young woman contact me one day who lived about in the countryside in South Australia, about 3 hours away from here, and she was getting started and had done a few weddings, I think, but I had a little ad running somewhere, and she contacted me, and I ended up inviting her down here for a couple of weekends. I don't know whether it's 2 or 3, and we went through the basics, and she's gone ahead in leaps and bounds and very involved in the whole professional photography scene now, and so it's very satisfying. And I still, even today, I've been talking to a young woman about maybe doing some training for her. So I find it very satisfying, and I would just encourage people who are, as you're getting a bit older, to share what you know with people. And of course, the YouTube community, all the photographers on YouTube are very generous with their tips and tutorials and all that sort of stuff, which I think is great. Of course, some of them are so popular they might be making some money out of it, but a lot of us are just amateurs. We're just doing it because we love doing it. So I guess just by giving you this short talk, I'm just encouraging others to help people around you get started in their photography and encourage them. I might put a couple of links to some of the people I've been talking about on. I'll just get rid of that. What happened there? That came up very bright there, didn't it? I'm just experimenting with this new app that I'm using my phone as a webcam, and I'm quite enjoying doing that. So anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, I'm encouraging people to do this and get the joy, the joy of giving, and you get a lot of satisfaction coming back to you. And so, as I said, I'll try and put a couple of links to some of the people I've been talking about, some of their work, and just encourage you to keep doing what you're doing, particularly all the YouTubers out there who I've learnt heaps from, and I try and teach a few things to other people as well. So thanks for watching, and like if you like, subscribe if you wish, and I'll see you next time, and I might try and put a few links underneath, as I said. I'll catch you later. See you later.